two races before the end of the season. But for the McLaren, they are 26-year wait for a Constructors Championship. Well, it ended yesterday after they won the Constructors Championship since the year 1998. And then outside Formula One also, we can discuss about the interesting world of football from the continent, also in Nigerian football, and then European football. For Chelsea Football Club in that 7-goal thriller, well, it was a staged comeback for them. Jadon Sancho, well, you could tell that it looked like a man reborn yesterday after putting one past Tottenham Hotspur. But for ice cold Palmer, well, he was the one who scored a brace for himself from the penalty spot in that encounter. But at the end of the day, 4-3, it ended in favor of Chelsea Football Club. And then in some other games that went down in the English Premier League, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ruud Boy, is still yet to lose in the colours of the Foxes. Leicester City, after his side staged a comeback also yesterday. 2-2 the game ended at the King Power Stadium. That's for Leicester City. But then we also go straight to other European leagues. Antoine Griezmann was the man responsible for the chunk of the goals in which Atletico de Madrid scored against Sevilla. And then Mason Greenwood also was on target for Marseille as they closed the gap on Paris Saint-Germain. And then in Italy also, well, for Napoli, the Betino Pie, they lost to Lazio yesterday. So we discuss about all of this on today's edition of the program right here on 32 FM, broadcast live from the big brown roof city of Ibadan. And you know you are listening to the voice of Oluwatimileye Sami. So get on the program at this lovely morning. All right, let's just start straight up from that's the English Premier League. We are from the games that went on yesterday. Arsenal Football Club were in action at the Craven Cottage, and that game they played out a draw against Fulham Football Club. 1-1 the game ended for Arsenal yesterday as Chelsea. With that, their results yesterday, they definitely stand. That's a second. That's 3 points above Arsenal Football Club and 4 points behind the Liverpool Football Club. And now talking about the game that went on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium proper, well, it was a 4-3 victory for the Blues. And for Enzo Maresca, well, remember that this man keeps saying that Chelsea Football Club, they are not in the title race. But as it stands, are they really in the title race? Maybe not. But then they are getting the results in which would put them that's on the front foot in the race for that's the English Premier League crown. Well, 4-3 it ended yesterday. And for Tottenham Hotspur, Danny Levy, who was in attendance watching his boys, his team play, we still don't know what would be the final action for that's on the decision and also on the career of Ant Postecoglou, the Australian in charge of that Tottenham Hotspur. Remember that this man, his side keeps blowing out and cold in the English Premier League and then in other competitions in which they find themselves. Well, also we talk about Leicester City, where they played out a 2-2 draw against their opponent. That was over the course of the weekend, and you could tell that it was a great result also for that Ruud van Nistelrooy. Well, for Ruud van Nistelrooy now, you could tell that this man in 2 games in charge now, he has not lost a game for Leicester City. And from the results of the game that they played yesterday, talking about Leicester City, they were up against for Leicester City, they were up against the Brighton and Hove Albion, and they staged that comeback. For Ipswich Town, they lost at home to the hands of Bournemouth after another late comeback in that game, in which definitely gave Bournemouth that maximum victory in the English Premier League yesterday. And then away from the English Premier League, in which will come later in the afternoon to get more reactions from that. Away from that, in Spain, it was Athletic Bilbao who defeated Villarreal by 2-0. Well, for Atletico de Madrid, like I said, Antoine Griezmann was the man responsible for the chunk of the goals in which Atletico defeated Sevilla. That's at their home stadium yesterday. Well, 4-3. It also ended between both sides. That's a 7-goal thriller. Real Sociedad defeated Leganes by 3-0. And then we talk about Osasuna and Alaves, where they shared the spoils 2-2. It ended. Well, in Germany, the big games went down on Saturday, but Wolfsburg defeated Mainz also in another 7-goal thriller over the weekend, 4-3. Hoffenheim and Freiburg, they shared the spoils 1-1. And of course, like I told you, in Italy, for Lazio, you could tell that this side, they defeated Napoli at the Wanda that's at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium yesterday by a goal to nil. So playing against that's Lazio in consecutive games has led to consecutive defeats for Antonio Conte's Napoli. That's in the world of football. Empoli also got the better of Verona 4-1 yesterday. Fiorentina defeated Cagliari also to push up their title credentials this season as Atlanta. Well, you could tell that this side they are top of the Serie A standing, and then we have Napoli in second position, while Inter Milan are third on the log with 31 points. For Atlanta, they have 34 points. Napoli, they have 32 points, and for Fiorentina also, whom of course have a game in hand against Inter Milan, both of them they have 31 points in the Italian Serie A. All right, let's leave that football story now. That's the European scene, and quickly talk about Formula One, where of course the 26-year wait for the McLaren, well, in the world of Formula One, waiting for a constructors championship. Well, it ended yesterday, but well, it was just a bit of a scare for them. But Lando Norris was the man who gave them that constructors championship. Remember, from the year 1974, 1984, 1985, 1988, 1989, that's 1990, 1991, 1998. Well, those has been the years in which the McLaren won the Constructors' Championship. But now, in the year 2024, they can look back and say that they are Constructors' Championship, or they were Constructors. They won the Constructors' Championship in the year 2024. But for one man, Lewis Hamilton, well, he came out in the pit for the Mercedes for the very last time. And of course, it was a great race also from Lewis Hamilton as he finished fourth in the driver. That's in the race that went down yesterday there in the Abu Dhabi for the driver of the season. Talking about Max Verstappen, he finished sixth. Well, it was a 1-2 for the Ferrari, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, but then 4 and 5 for the Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. But all right, let's take a listen to the words of Lewis Hamilton, whom of course this man is a legend of that's the Mercedes. Well, he won 6 championships with them, despite winning one with the McLaren in the year 2008. But let's take a listen to the words of Lewis Hamilton speaking about what it feels like after the race yesterday, because it was so emotional. The words of Lewis Hamilton.
So you kind of like squatting down next to the car, having a few moments. I think you spent a little bit of time in the car as well before you got out. What was running through your mind during those moments?
I can't remember, to be honest. It's all already a blur, but I think it was just, it's the last time I'm going to be in a cockpit with a Mercedes, so just trying to enjoy that moment. Take it for me, obviously I did the whole race, but there's so much you're doing on it, but just to be able to hold on to that moment, because it's history now. And all my races they've all been powered by Mercedes and all the success we've had, and so I just sat there to think about all that and really contemplate just how great a journey it's been. I'm going to miss him. I mean, I can't tell you how much I'm going to miss him. It's going to be a huge amount, because I've worked with him every day for the past 12 years. So, but there's a lot of love within this team, and that's not going anywhere.
All right, today listen to the words of Lewis Hamilton. Yes, in the Constructors' Championship, 666, it was for the McLaren, and the Ferrari finished with 652. Wow, so 14 points. That was the big difference for who is going to win the Constructors' Championship. All right, let's move away from that also and come to the continent to talk about some African football games that went down yesterday. That was the CAF Champions League at the CAF Confederation Cup. Well, in Uyo Eyimba, well, they played out a 2-2 draw against their opponents. That's the defending champions of the CAF Confederation Cup. And you could tell that in attendance we had Nwako Kanu, the former Ajax, Arsenal, and Postmortem forward there in that game. Remember that he is the chairman of Eyimba Football Club, and you could tell that it was in attendance. But the result definitely was not going the way of Eyimba Football Club, surrendering that having a 2-goal defeat, being behind in that encounter, but they came back to play out a 2-2 draw that's against their opponents. What a big fight back it was for Enyimba Football Club. And then for the other games that went down also, we had other games on the continent which actually went down, and that's Constantine of Algeria. They are top of their group with maximum points after fighting back also to Edge Simba of Tanzania by 2-1. Well, moving away from that, also in the CAF Champions League, Al Ahly Experience and Mamelodi Sounders, they dropped points in the match day 2 of the CAF Champions League, and that will lead us to come to talk about Nigerian football. That's the NPFL. Well, in the Nigeria Premier Football League over the course of the weekend, it was the first away victory for the Oluyole Warriors under that 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐑 as they defeated Sunshine Stars by 1-0. That's at the Ikene Remo Stars Stadium. And for Remo Stars, that they are back on top of the standing also after getting a victory yesterday. And Enugu Rangers, they remain unbeaten in their last 9 games. Well, for Fidelis Lechukwu, defeated Finidi George Rivers United by 1-0. And that definitely has left that's Remo Stars top of the standing of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Ikorodu City also lost over the course of the weekend, 1-0. But then we have more updates to discuss about that's Nigerian football, what will come later in the afternoon. Well, till then, I am SAMIES, your sports captain, and coming up on the hour mark is Papa Vendor. Well, I am SAMIES, your sports captain. I say do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.